Welcome back to Sunday Vibes 1 and all. We're back in the pub. Christopher Hamill, Patrick Van Straten joining me to answer your questions that you've been sending in on social media all week. The first one comes from Josh Zimmerman Soler. Was Zimmerman like a Hans Zimmerman? Maybe related? Could be good at the old music.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. Who says, if there was a match between Europe's cities rather than teams, who would win?
I like this question.
It's an
Smart, bit of
interesting
thought's
one.
gone into it.
It's an interesting one. So
Well done,
let's
John.
talk about the main ones then. Madrid.
Yes.
Okay, Madrid, I think it's the easiest way to look at this is who gets in Real Madrid's team from Atletico. And for me, it's probably Jan Oblak.
Yep.
As much as I like Keylor Navas, Jan Oblak is absolutely world class.
Yeah.
I was doing some research for the Champions League prior to this, and he's kept 18 clean sheets at home in his last 22 Champions League games.
Stats.
I mean, they're stats that Real Madrid could use, aren't they?
Okay, so
and I think potentially Antoine Griezmann in that front three.
I don't know, where does he play that front three?
Oh, I think you just find room for him. Bale.
He's getting over Bale.
Yeah, especially if Bale, if his injuries
probably true.
Benzema as
Probably
well,
true over Bale. I agree.
carry on. Apart from that, I've got to say, maybe they could use the defensive solidity of a Diego Godin every now and then for a tough away game.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, I think the rest of it is Real Madrid. What about you boys?
Yeah, I would agree.
It would beef
I would
up their
agree.
squad rather than their first 11, I think. Right?
Yeah.
You know, like having Saul on the bench would be great. You know, or having Koke on the bench would be good too.
Starting 11 is going to be a majority Real, isn't it? Paris is obviously all PSG. Barca's all Barcelona.
No, Espanyol.
Well, no Espanyol
No
players.
Espanyol players are in there. Manchester is an
Pablo
interesting little shout.
Piatti, maybe?
Interesting debate about Manchester. Majority City players.
I
in my
think
opinion.
that's the closest you're going to get. Like maybe London, but I think
I think maybe 7 City players.
I think Manchester. Yeah, I mean, look, De Gea will get in definitely.
Yeah.
Pogba will get in definitely, and after that you get debate. Like maybe Bailly comes in, maybe
Yeah, I think
Lukaku
Bailly,
comes in.
especially if he plays a back three, which he tends to. I think Bailly does play in that back three.
Yeah, I think he probably does. I'm not sure that Valencia gets in over Walker though. And so then, but that's a pretty outrageous.
See, for
side.
me-
if
for
you
me-
drop Pogba, and even maybe Matic, if you needed more of a defender.
See, for me, Lukaku starts every day of the week in front of Jesus.
I agree.
At the moment, I think Jesus, don't get me wrong, phenomenal player, and in a few years he might well have blasted Romelu Lukaku out of the window. But for me, right now, he starts Lukaku over Jesus.
I can see your reservations. I think he's got more of a complementary skill set
Yes.
for someone
Yeah,
like
I don't
Aguero.
think they play together,
But if we kind of take team chemistry, if we put that aside
Yeah.
and just
Lukaku.
go on a pure sort of goals basis, then yeah, Romelu Lukaku over the little Brazilian for me. But what a front line that'd be.
What about London?
Sane and Sterling wouldn't even get in there.
What about London? Now, there is a lot of teams in London, so the debate is going to be big.
Well, we're going what?
plenty of
Tottenham,
talent.
Arsenal, Chelsea. Yeah?
Tottenham, Arsenal,
Probably,
Chelsea, yeah. All right, goalkeeper.
I put
Here you
Lloris
go.
in. Yeah, I put Lloris
Alderweireld and Vertonghen and Koscielny in a back three.
War.
No.
Okay.
What about Azpilicueta?
Azpilicueta's got to go in
Shit.
there.
Yeah, but you could
Probably the
play
best
Azpilicueta as a
defender
right
in the
back.
league for me.
Like you could play Azpilicueta as a right wing back, as a right back, as a centre back. Like you could do anything with him.
If we're going to go back three, which you just put forward, I'm going to put Azpilicueta in over Koscielny. I do like Koscielny, but I think Azpilicueta's got more legs in it.
I think I'd put him in over Vertonghen, but I agree that he needs to go in.
Right. Wing backs?
Sack him off. Don't care.
I would probably, right now, I'd take Ben Davis as my left wing back. I think he
from
started
London.
the season
Oh, okay.
phenomenally well, and although I think Kolasinac is a phenomenal player.
And Marcus Alonso as well.
Oh, it, Marcus Alonso.
Marcus
has to start
Alonso.
left back. Marcus Alonso.
He can
left
take
wing
your set
back.
pieces as well.
Yeah,
I think a
Marcus
fit
Alonso
Danny
left
Rose.
wing
I think a fit Danny Rose probably gets in.
Rabble.
back. Right wing back.
Bellerin or Aurier, you'd have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
I'd probably
go
take
Hector
them over
Bellerin.
Moses. Midfield is a
Sergio Aurier's
debate.
still got a little bit to
Midfield's
prove,
big
hasn't he?
debate. Kante. In
Um,
there.
Okay, in that midfield. So
Yeah,
we're
I
looking
mean
at
Kante's got to get in. I'd say Moussa Dembele probably gets in.
Yeah.
Eriksen's got to get in there somewhere. attacking
Dele Alli
midfield.
probably has to find a place.
But then
Dele
what
Alli.
happens to the likes of Mesut Ozil?
Well, then we've got Morata, we've got Kane, we've got Alexis Sanchez, we've got Eden Hazard. All these guys have got to fit in.
yeah,
Eden
Mesut
Hazard on the
Ozil.
left then. And at the moment, I think it's got to be Morata and Kane on current form up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree with that.
So now we've decided who would put together which team would win.
Well, Madrid. Like, I mean, they've won 2 Champions Leagues running, so they've got the best side in Europe. Plus, they've got Antoine Griezmann and Oblak. Like, I mean, of course, it's going to be Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid
I
would
don't
definitely blast them
I think
away.
Manchester maybe give them a run for their money, but I think it's Madrid.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. Why don't you guys let us know what you think in the comments just below.
The next question is a video one, and it comes from Adrian. Sally.
Hello Football Daily. This is a question for Sunday Vibes. Who do you think is the most overpaid player in Europe?
So who do we think is the most overpaid player in the world? We've got written down here, Ezekiel Lavezzi, Carlos Tevez. Should we not talk about the Chinese players though, because they are massively overpaid?
I mean, you have to include them in the conversation when Lavezzi is on £798,000 a week.
That can't be right.
That's too much.
Absolutely frivolous. I think Carlos Tevez as well, for all the money he's earning out there, has made, 13 appearances and scored 2 goals?
Yeah, 3 goals.
And he's slagged off the whole of Chinese football.
That's insane. Yeah, he has.
As well.
He's abused them.
Correctly. But, yeah, well, potentially. Standard, you know. Not great, you knew that. Money grabbing.
Man United overpay a lot of players.
Overrated.
I mean, our wage between the end of last season and this season has gone up £20 million over the summer, which I don't know how has happened.
What's going on with Rooney? Are you subsidising his wages at Everton?
I think we're subsidising.
Because if he's still anywhere near that 250k,
we subsidise 50%.
He was on 300.
Yeah, then with the image rights as well.
I think
he.
You're subsidising it for a year, aren't you?
I think we subsidise 50% for 12 months.
His contribution at this point is not worth that. That's so much.
And then obviously we bought Lukaku.
Is he still the top paid player in the Premier League?
I mean,
United
will definitely secure at least Europa League football with that forward triumvirate at Everton, won't they?
There's got to be a couple of others though that are like clinically overpaid. Like you look at Jack Rodwell in the Championship taking home, what was it, £70,000 a week.
Something like that.
John Terry in the Championship at Aston Villa raking in £100,000 a week.
I think Jack Wilshere is still on about 90k a week, he's an appalling player.
John Terry turned down Brighton's offer of £82,000 a week because Villa offered him £108,000 a week apparently.
You know, Jack Wilshere has produced 7 assists in the league over the last 4 seasons, and yet he earns 90k a week. That is absolutely mental.
Apparently, Carl Jenkinson earns just 15k less than the likes of Dele Alli per week.
But I think that's an interesting point, isn't it? We've talked about this before, that Spurs just underpay all their players. All their players are paid about 50 to 100 grand.
It's in here this week, isn't it? Absolutely raucous. All right, let's just come back in, ignore the old Witches Covenant, and I'm going to suggest Gareth Bale, who's on 350k per week, has contributed to the most goals so far this season in that Real Madrid team with 3 goals and 3 assists, but a couple of calf injuries away from being a giant waste of money.
True.
He spent the best part of 2 years on the bench, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
And in the recovery room.
But Fabio Borini at AC Milan.
What a left field shout.
Is he being paid? Because if he is, then yes, he is earning too much.
Yes, then he's earning too much.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a professional footballer, really.
One appearance, 1 goal against some Europa League
What about Diego Costa, who presumably is still earning about 200k a week to do nothing until January?
What about any of that PSG bench that's been very expensively assembled?
Di Maria.
Di Maria is
shout.
an absolute fortune.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, right, anyway, who do you think is the most overpaid player in world football? And also, if you want to send a video question to us, send it on Facebook. Links in the description below.
Or tweet Adam Templeman.
Yeah, one of the 2. Next question comes from John Campbell, who says, who was the better side, Arsenal's Invincibles or the United Treble side of '99? It's a toughie.
I mean, you've got to kick us off, surely.
Yeah, I think Arsenal had the best player in Thierry Henry, maybe even the second best player as well in Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah.
But I think that Man United's team was better than the Invincibles. Potentially the best we've ever had in the Premier League, alongside Chelsea's team that conceded 15 goals.
Yeah, I think the only person in that Man United team who talent-wise could match up to Vieira, to Bergkamp and Henry was Scholes. But I do kind of agree. Like, I think the question here was who's the better side.
Yeah,
and the thing is, like, United at that point, I mean, they came back against Juventus, like, and they didn't even have Roy Keane in the final. Then they played Bayern Munich, you know, the Bayern Munich of Oliver Kahn, Mehmet Shaw, Hasan Salihamidzic, like an amazing side. Beat them too. This is an era, of course, where Real Madrid were investing hugely in their team, when there was really tough competition in the Premier League as well. And United fended them off too. You know, to win the treble at that point was genuinely like a staggering achievement. Whereas Arsenal in the Invincible season, yes, they went unbeaten. However, I believe that we drew 12 games in the league, which is actually a lot of games to draw.
I was going to say, I feel like in that Man United setup, you have like a plan A, B, and C.
Yeah.
You have firepower coming off the bench in the likes of Solskjaer and Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah.
You've got David Beckham, who obviously set piece specialist.
Well, Beckham was arguably our best player that year. He was robbed of the Ballon d'Or. He was
d'Or?
robbed of the Ballon d'Or that year.
Yeah, double digits, didn't he, for goals and assists?
Yeah, he was incredible. Obviously, like not even to mention the likes of Ryan Giggs and players like that. Who?
Yeah, I mean that's your plan A, isn't it? Ryan Giggs down the left wing, Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
And what about maybe we should adopt the same tack we did with the best City? Like who from that Man United side would get in the Arsenal Invincibles then? Schmeichel?
I think Schmeichel would have got in that team over Jens Lehmann.
Lehmann was very good that season, but overall, like their career peak, yeah, Schmeichel was better.
I would say
Scholes as well. I
Maybe.
genuinely
What
think
do you
that
think
like,
about I think maybe Beck's on the right.
I think Beck's over Lundberg.
Yeah.
I think that's fair enough. But I think Pires and Giggs. That's a personal opinion, you know.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like,
an interesting
I think that like they were both incredible.
I think that Arsenal backline was unbelievable.
Gary Neville maybe over Laurent, maybe.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
that makes sense. But this is what I'm saying. I genuinely think individuals all the way around, Arsenal's team was better. But if I wanted the manager and the side and the way that they could change their system, the way they could adapt to losing an individual, like you take Vieira out of that Arsenal team in a big game and they found it difficult. Whereas you took Keane out of United in the final and they found it difficult, but they still won. And that's just pure Fergie
And it was,
magic.
it was without Keane and without Scholes in that Champions League final.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think it was, wasn't it like Nicky Butt and Blomqvist?
Yeah, it was
or
Nicky Butt and David Beckham played in central midfield.
Jesus.
And
Who played on the right wing?
Blomqvist.
Absolutely mental.
Incredible achievement.
But this is what Ferguson did. I mean, Ferguson is just. There are very few managers around who are like him. Like actually, the Italians are most similar, and maybe Unai Emery as well, where they will genuinely change their formation, change the way they play, change everything about how they play, based on who they're playing.
They're not precious, are they? They're pragmatic, and that's been a hallmark of all of Ferguson's teams. I remember when you beat Wolfsburg, was it 3-1 or 4-1 with the most ridiculous Champions League lineup? I think it was John O'Shea
that was
and Rafinha in
Ferguson.
midfield, and Michael Owen up front, who scored a hat-trick, I believe. But yeah. I actually don't give a shit about either side.
Who would you vote for? Invincibles or the treble winning team?
Or
There's
Celtic's
a poll.
Invincibles.
There's a poll up there. We're not even going to bother putting Celtic Invincibles.
Colo Torre though, makings both teams.
Final question of the day comes from Umar24 Rashid, who says, who is the best manager in the Premier League outside of the top 6?
Well, I think Arsenal are 7th at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. No, it doesn't count. We're talking about the established top 6.
Just leapfrog.
I will go Marco Silva.
Fair.
I think Marco Silva is Watford are punching well above their weight.
You're a
with
bit
Marco
infatuated
Silva.
with Marco
I think he's
Silva.
an absolutely fabulous manager.
Handsome.
What do you like about his philosophy, about his game plans, about his style?
I like the way he sets up defensively for one.
Yes.
I actually think he adapts really well to the teams he's at. I thought he did a surprisingly good job for Hull. They were rotten, they were always going to go down, and I think he did the best with what he could do. They sold so many good players in the winter that he arrived as well.
Yeah.
They were always going to face the drop. And now I think you can see how good he is at Watford. He's made them really, really solid at the back, despite having injuries. I think he's recruited quite well. I really, really like Richarlison.
Good choice of coat as well.
Richarlison apparently,
Yeah, he's great.
I think Richarlison came out publicly actually and has openly said it's kind of a stepping stone club for him, which is always going to be Watford. But I think he's a very, very exciting player. You also look at some of the other striking options they got. Gray, Deeney, they're a good team. Pereira on one
He
one
must
wing.
be a decent man manager as well, because he's successfully dropped the club captain to the bench, and Troy Deeney seems to have
I was injured. Troy was
taken it
injured.
in stride. Not against Swansea though.
I think he's been coming back from injury though.
I mean, he looked slow when he came on.
Well, I think
he's getting on now.
Richarlison is a fantastic player, and he probably will start.
He will go to a bigger club in the next couple of years. Like he's really exciting.
Yeah.
He's gone off like a rocket.
I just think Marco Silva is below where he should be right now with Watford, but I think maybe within 2-3 years you'll see him at a top elite club in Europe, playing in the Champions League and doing really well.
I know who you're going to say, mate. The Ginger Mourinho, Sean Dyche. You're a massive fan.
Shawnee
That
baby.
long ball.
Now Joe's taken Silva. I think there are two main remaining candidates. Obviously Rafa Benitez, Champions League winner, Spanish League winner. He's brought them up from the Championship with ease. I mean,
Similar to Marco Silva.
creates a solid defence.
Is on the fence. Yeah.
Yeah, and as everyone always says, like defence keeps you up, and that's kind of true. I think a solid attack keeps you up, but they never get really humiliated like a Benitez side. Like they don't get absolutely smashed to pieces, and I think that keeps the confidence of the players like reasonably solid.
Yeah.
I think he tends to get evereverone moving in the right direction very quickly.
The
Benitez,
fans
that's why
love him as well, Benitez.
Yeah, because he stayed with them. Like he didn't need to. And not really being backed in the market.
They're fortunate to have him as a Premier League club as well.
Yeah.
This is a guy who was deemed fit enough to manage Real Madrid. And
Well, West
I
Ham desperately
think he
wanted
was
him.
unfairly treated at Real Madrid as well.
Wh-
Player power just completely ousted him
Yeah.
after that. Was it a 5-0 loss to Barcelona?
Yeah.
Which has
They
happened
won.
to every manager.
Yeah, I read an article
At
over the
Barcelona,
summer
Madrid.
where West Ham were desperate for Rafa Benitez this
Of
summer.
course,
Yeah, that
they-
makes sense.
And
Now
there
they're
was
desperate for Thomas Tuchel,
there
apparently.
was a stage when they really could have got him from
Yeah.
Newcastle and missed out and chose to stick with Bilic, changed their mind, and now they are regretting it big time.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
sure they're desperate for
But
Rafa
maybe
again
though
now.
they'll go for the other guy who I think we all like, who's David Wagner, right?
I think they'll still go for Rafa again. And I think Rafa will
I
say
like
that.
Wagner because he's kept it simple at Huddersfield and he's adopted the same tactics in the Premiership that served him really well in the Championship. They're not afraid of attacking, are they? But again, they've got that solid base. Is it Schindler?
Yep.
Schindler's
Yeah.
been playing really well.
The big list.
They're the big list. Their right back is their captain. I forget his name. I think he got 11 or something assists last season. He's been really good for them as well. Obviously, I'm a massive fan of Aaron Moy.
Yeah.
He's a fulcrum of that side. Everything comes through him. What a find he was. Well, not a find because Manchester City got him, but what a buy he was for £10 million. There'll be a lot of mid-table clubs that are like, why weren't we in for Aaron Moy in the summer? But
I thought they would miss it because obviously they had Izzy Brown last year and he's a really dominant midfielder at the Championship level, and I thought when they didn't re-sign him on a second year this season, I thought they might struggle in that midfield area, but surprisingly they've actually looked alright, and the majority of that is because of Aaron Moyes.
Well, they're currently they got promoted, I think, with a goal difference of what -3, wasn't it, or something?
And they didn't score a single goal in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was horribly low, and now they've got a better goal difference than that in the Prem after 6 games. I mean, you can't.
yeah, and we
turn those off at that.
we all wrote them off, didn't we?
Yeah.
Obviously, you saw that -3 sort of goal difference, and you were like, okay, here's a team that's nailed on. to get relegated, and they're actually playing a decent brand of football. He's very personable, isn't he, David Wagner?
Yeah.
A little bit like
Obviously
Jurgen Klopp,
bright.
sort of wears his heart on his sleeve, sort of thing. But maybe Ronald Koeman, Paul Clement. Koeman
Clement,
obviously
no.
plays. He's a pragmatist as well. He plays a functional brand of football.
I think Clement will be sacked soon.
Really?
Yeah.
I just don't think Swansea after that takeover, they were a very well-run club before, weren't they? And had a decent revolving door actually. They're like
Incredibly well run.
Brendan Rodgers, Paulo Sousa,
Bobby Martinez.
Martinez as well. They were like Southampton. They were consistently replacing decent calibre of manager with a decent calibre of manager. But since the US owners took over, there's been a bit of a disconnect with the fans, hasn't there? There's been who was in before Clement?
Bob Bradley.
Yeah, and then before that they had Monk.
I mean, that was catastrophic. Monk led them to their highest ever Premier League finish.
Monk was alright,
and then
and
was
then
and then was subsequently sacked, wasn't he? And
Monk
he's doing a
got
fine job with Leeds now.
Yeah, which was an example, right, of
But-
bad thinking, right? Because Monk got kind of lucky this season. They finished sixth. Like everything went their way. Like everybody said, like basically they performed above all their kind of underlying metrics. But then next season, when they didn't do that again, when the owners were like, "Well, you finished sixth last season," and you're like, "Well, this is why you've got to look into these things a little bit more," because they could have kept Gary Monk and they'd have probably just been fine.
Was it as high as sixth? I thought it was eighth.
I thought it was sixth or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I've made that up.
Maybe
but-
it was 8. I think it was
But-
8.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, he again decent young manager. So yeah, I think the Premier League. The thing at the moment is the top 6 teams have an unbelievable calibre of manager, don't they?
Yeah.
Probably the
incredible.
best in the modern era. So the
Yeah,
rest
definitely.
may be
Top
falling
5
short. Well, you know, Wenger, just being generous, trying to be diplomatic here. But after that, there's some people that kind of match their club, isn't there? Like Sean Dyche at Burnley.
Yeah.
They're a perfect fit, like Marco Silva at Watford at the moment. So yeah.
There we have it. That's it. So that's all the time we've got for today. Thanks to Christopher Hamill, Patrick Van Straten for joining me. Get your questions in for next week's show using the hashtag SundayVibes in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and tell these guys to shut up.
I'm off to get smashed, really.
I'm the only real man here.